Bangladesh in Turmoil, the fight for justice and minority rights. Welcome to this deep dive into the turbulent events reshaping Bangladesh. In this video, we will unravel the dramatic fall of Sheikh Hasina, the protests that shook the nation, and the challenges of forming a new government in the aftermath of her resignation. But that's not at all. We will also spotlight the surge in violence against minority communities, particularly Hindus, who have become targets in this chaos. And finally, we will explore the controversial arrest of Hindu monk Chandan Kumar Dhar, a key figure whose detention has sparked international outrage. Join us as we break down the protests, the political transition, the human cost of mob violence, and what these events mean for the future of Bangladesh and its people. Stay tuned. It's a story you don't want to miss. In 2024, Bangladesh found itself at a historic crossroads. What began as a protest over a seemingly routine policy quickly spiraled into a nationwide unrest, culminating in the fall of Sheikh Hasina, the long-serving prime minister. But the turmoil did not end there. Political instability, attack on minorities, and a government struggling to maintain order. Bangladesh's future hangs in the balance. Protests and the fall of Sheikh Hasina. It all began with a controversial decision, a reinstatement of job quotas for the descendants of freedom fighters. Many viewed this as a discriminatory and the outrage was swift. What started as a student-led protests under the banner of the student movement against discrimination soon grew into a nationwide uprising against corruption, rising costs, and the authoritarian grip of Sheikh Hasina. By July 24, the protests reached a boiling point. Over 300 lives were lost in violence as the government's efforts to suppress the movement backfired. By August 5th, the situation became untenable. Even the military, a pillar of Hasina's power, refused to intervene further. In a stunning turn of events, Sheikh Hasina resigned and fled the country. Jubilation turned to chaos as demonstrators targeted symbols of the past regime, including statues of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Bangladesh's founding father. Hasina's fall marked the end of her 15-year rule but left behind a fractured nation. Now, the political transition. With Hasina's gone, the military brokered an interim government. Entered Muhammad Yunus, a Nobel laureate and respected global figure. Tasked with restoring stability, Yunus faced monumental challenges. His government excluded Hasina's Awami League, sidelining a party deeply tied to Bangladesh's identity. This sparked fears of radicalization among its supporters. Meanwhile, the opposition parties like the BNP and Jamaat-e-Islami resurfaced, reigniting debates about their role in shaping the future. Public expectations were sky high. Citizens demanded reforms, accountability for corruption, fair elections, and protection of rights. But as events unfolded, the challenges only grew. Attacks on Hindus and arrest of Chandan Kumar Dhar. In the chaos following Hasina's departure, Bangladesh's minority communities faced brutal attacks. Hindus, long associated with the Awami League's secular platform, became scapegoats. Over 2,000 violent incidents were reported, homes looted, temples destroyed, and families forced to flee. Social media played a sinister role, fueling riots with inflammatory content. In one case, a provocative post in Chittagong incited mobs to attack Hindu neighborhoods, leaving devastation in the air. The arrest of Hindu monk Chandan Kumar Dhar added fuel to the fire. Chandan Kumar Dhar, a revered spiritual leader, was charged with sedition for allegedly disrespecting the national flag during a rally for Hindu rights. Critics called it a politically motivated move to silence minority voices. His arrest sparked outrage among Hindus in Bangladesh and the diaspora. It became a grim symbol of the interim government's failure to protect minorities or uphold justice. The new government's inaction, Despite its promises, interim government struggled to act decisively. Security forces were accused of ignoring mob violence while disproportionately targeting Hindu protesters. Temples remained in ruins, and displaced families were left without support. Observers pointed to political calculations. With hardline Islamist groups gaining influence, the government seemed hesitant to confront the perpetrators of violence, fearing further unrest. The unrest caught global attention. India expressed alarm over the attacks on Hindus, urging Bangladesh to uphold its secular principles. Meanwhile, civil society groups within Bangladesh demanded urgent action to protect minorities and restore the nation's democratic foundations. The violence and inaction have cast a long shadow over Bangladesh's identity. For its Hindu minority, the question looms: is there a future for them in the country? Many have already sought asylum abroad, making a loss not just for the community but for the rich cultural diversity that defines Bangladesh. As the Awami League's influence wanes and marginalized parties rise, the nation faces a critical juncture. Will Bangladesh preserve its secular and democratic ideals or succumb to rising conservatism and division? Bangladesh stands at a crossroads. Its ability to navigate this crisis will determine not just its political future but the very soul of its nation. The world watches as this chapter unfolds. What do you think lies ahead for Bangladesh? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into global events. Thank you.